Hello and good evening. I'm going to link you to an article in the description, and it was of great interest to me when I stumbled upon this. I'd like you all to take a look because it is important, and I would like everyone to look at it. Now, I found this on a website that I visit quite a lot actually. It's called thenaturalnews.com. Sorry, not the Natural News, it's naturalnews.com. I'll put the link in, right? And the title of this article is "What's Really in the Food? The A to Z of the food industry's most evil ingredients." Now, I'll just tell you a little bit about myself. Anyone who knows me knows that I'm a nightmare to go shopping with, because what I tend to do is when I'm going down the aisles and I pick something off the shelf, I tend to read the label, right? So I want to know what's in the thing. Now, had I done that years ago, right, I may not be in the position I'm in today, because like right now my subscribers and friends will be aware of the fact that I'm on a diet, right, because I am classed, right, believe it or not, I'm classed as like morbidly obese which is a bit harsh. I didn't think it was that bad, but according to the graphs and the standards or whatever, right, that's what I'm classed as, which is like, that kind of hurts, you know, but it's a fact. Now, I don't take it to heart, because like, I define who I am, you know, not anyone else, right? But having said that, I do believe that I need to lose some weight, and hence I'm on a diet. Well, not a diet, but an eating plan and an exercise plan, and I'm doing very well. And this video isn't about that. I do a Saturday video every Saturday about my progress for those who are interested in hearing about it, right? But no, I'm doing well. I've lost like a lot of weight, and I'm doing really well. But what I tend to do when I eat, right, I tend to eat things that are as natural as possible, so things that grow in the ground, and okay, animals, yes, I do eat meat, but things as natural as they could possibly be, you know, not processed food, not things in packets that are processed with a pile of ingredients. Now, my rule of thumb, and I've heard this be said before and I agree with it, right, if you just take one thing from this video, right, if this subject is of interest to you, maybe you're one of these who you can just eat what you want and you're fine, you know, and great, that's fantastic. Yeah, what I do, right, is if I pick up a food item and I'm thinking about eating it, if I see a massive long list of ingredients, I'm like, that rings alarm bells in my head. I'm like, well, that's a lot of ingredients, you know. And see if they're like words you can't pronounce and long words and things you've never heard of, and I'm like, well, I don't know if I want to eat that, you know. If you pick something up and it's just like a few ingredients or no ingredients, I mean, a potato, you don't get ingredients for a potato. There is no ingredients label. A potato is a potato. It grows in the ground and it's just a potato. Ingredients, potato, that's it, right? So that's great. And then you've got things that maybe, I mean, you can't just eat bland, plain old potato. Yeah, what a boring life would that be? Okay, so there are tasty things out there on the shelves, and there are things that you could read the label and you would think, okay, well, that's okay, I'll eat that, you know. But this article is interesting because it's a really good guide. It's just got a list of things here that you just do not want to put in your mouth. So have a read of it, and there's some links here to maybe go into some details to what things do to you, you know, the sinister things it has that it does to your body. Okay, so have a look at that. And also another thing as well, which is interesting, and I happen to know this already, okay, is the fact that when you read food labels, yeah, you see the ingredients, they're listed in a particular order, and the list, it must have the most prominent ingredients first. Okay, so the number one thing on the list is the number one most prominent ingredient in that product, and as the list goes on, it's, you know, lesser and lesser of that particular ingredient in the product. Okay, and also you need to educate yourself as well on cons, right? And what I mean by that is like deceit, basically. Like take for example sugar, right? Sugar comes in many guises. You know, sweeteners come in many guises. You know, you could read something and it could sound like, well, that word sounds pretty good. You know, that sounds like an ingredient that isn't going to do any harm, but they're clever. You know, it can not be good. You know, I mean, for example, I always thought, when I read high fructose corn syrup, I always thought, well, hey, the word corn, I like that word. Fructose, that's like fruit, sugar. You know, I thought, well, hey, well, that's okay. Well, it's not. Research it, check it out. It's not okay. It's absolutely not okay. There's a lot of ingredients that are not okay, which then brings us to the issue of, well, why are bad things like carcinogens and ingredients that are detrimental to your health, why are they allowed in the food? Well, good question. It's a very good question. I mean, people, you will be amazed the amount of people that will just put anything into their mouth and eat anything that comes out of a packet that they take off the supermarket shelf, because they eat it in good faith, thinking, well, this must be okay to eat because it's on the shelf, it's you know, there's laws that protect me, and you know, if it's allowed to be sold, then it must be okay. Well, hey, I've got a wake-up call for you. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's good. Just because there are organisations and there are people who are paid salaries to ensure public health, that doesn't mean shit. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. Because let me tell you something. There are ingredients in your foods that you're eating that are very bad. And I'll tell you another thing as well. I would rather be fat than have cancer. Alright? Yeah, I would. I mean, okay, so being a person who's trying to watch my weight, okay, trying to lose some weight, you would think that I would be avoiding sugar, but I'll tell you something. I would go for sugar before I would go for artificial sweeteners, because you see, artificial sweeteners like aspartame, neurological disorders. Let me read what it has to say about aspartame. Aspartame is bad, and it's in everything. It's not in everything, but it's in a lot of stuff. Right? If you're not careful, you'll have a lot of aspartame in your daily diet. Chemical sweetener that causes neurological disorders, seizures, blurred vision, and migraine headaches. Right? And there's a link there on the article that takes you into more depth about aspartame. If you Google aspartame, you'll find tons of information about the aspartame. Aspartame was banned in most of the world. Right? There is okay, aspartame. You're going down a deep rabbit hole with aspartame. Right? It is bad. It is very bad, and it's very sinister. And you see, if you start researching, it'll take you down a deep rabbit hole. You'll find out. You know, you'll conclude that aspartame is actually used as a chemical weapon against us. But you know, then you have to start looking at New World Order. It'll take you down a deep rabbit hole. You'll be like many days, and you'll go into all kinds of stuff. you know, and then you start looking at sodium fluoride in the water, this kind of thing. But anyway, so where was I? So yeah, so you know, I'd rather battle with my weight. I'd rather have sugar in moderation and watch my sugar intake. And you know, there are people that are trying to watch their weight and they'll go for sugar-free everything. Sugar-free is the buzzword now. It's like sugar-free, sugar-free, sugar-free. I mean, you know, there's this big psyops that everyone thinks they should go for sugar-free. I mean, people go for Diet Coke, they go for sugar-free chewing gum, you know, thinking, well, hey, this stuff's going to be good because it's not got sugar in it. But you know what? It's like you'd be better off being a little overweight. Honestly, you would. Alright? Because that stuff's not good. And don't take my word for it. I mean, most of you, I would think, intelligent people watching this would already know that these things are bad. But for those of you who don't, or those of you who don't know just how severe these things are, I urge you to research it. Okay, so enough rambling from me. Please read the article and check it out and draw your own conclusions. But to be honest, I don't think there's many conclusions you can draw from this. I mean, it's pretty black and white. Alright? And don't be naive and think that, you know, that there are people out there to protect you from bad things getting into your food, because yes, there is a guise, right, that there are people there, and that's why people buy things in blind faith. People go out and buy things and eat things in blind faith, thinking, oh yeah, it's okay because it wouldn't be legal if it's not. Bullshit. That's not how it works, you know. But I could talk for hours on that, but I won't. You know, one thing at a time. You know, let's tackle one subject at a time. But yeah, so number one, realise that there's no one out there trying to protect you, right? That's number one. And number two, consider what you're eating, right? And I guess if there's number three, it's like choose to go for the supposed not good things, you know, like sugar and fat, as opposed to substitutes, right? Because, like, you know, everything has a price, right? You don't have like sugar-free and it be like a godsend. It's like, oh, this is great, it's not got sugar in it, but yeah, it still tastes sweet. Let me tell you, aspartame is 300 times sweet than sugar. So you'll eat the thing and you'll think, oh my goodness, this is too good to be true. Well, yes, it is. It is too good to be true, because it's not just as an innocent substitute to sugar, right? You're paying a price, and you're paying with your health. That's what's happening. And another thing as well, right? And check this out. Research has come about, and bullshit, they always knew it, right? It's just come to the media now, right? But of course they bloody well knew, right, that in actual fact you put weight on by having sugar substitutes, because your body, you trick your body into thinking that, you know, you make yourself more hungry. But anyway, you know, where am I time-wise? Look, yeah, no, I'm out of time. But yeah, please have a read of that.